psychotherapist with Nicholas Rose Associates, and I've been exploring different forms of psychotherapy now for about 35 years. Often, when I meet clients, I find that they're carrying the shame and the stigma of a mental health problem as if it were their fault, their failed responsibility to be a fully functioning citizen. But in my view, nothing could be further from the truth. Mental health problems are more frequently generated in the family. Often they're the result of trauma that may go back more than one generation. Often, one family member carries the underlying emotional burden for all. It's one of the worst injustices that those with an insecure early attachment are more likely to struggle in later life. I want to explore today the securely attached early bond that can help people ride out traumatic periods and quickly regain their equilibrium. Also, I want to talk about how trauma can be alleviated. Most people view trauma as what might happen in a train crash or an explosion, a wartime attack or something of that nature. And of course, these are deeply traumatic and disturbing events. Just as traumatic, in fact more so potentially, in a more sustained way, is the kind of trauma some therapists call complex PTSD. This can come about when a child is persistently neglected, abused, or when people are subjected to persistent criticism or ongoing fear of their life, or fear for the life of their friends or children. Not many people realise that inconsistent or emotionally detached parenting can also be traumatic for a child, and that trauma of this sort can start from birth, or even in some circumstances in the womb. Faced with trauma, the body mounts a range of defences, from the fight or flight response, or freeze, to detachment from one's bodily emotions. These defences can continue after the traumatic situation has long ended, often leaving a fear, even an expectation of a repeat of the trauma experienced as a sort of underlying anxiety. But why are some people more resilient and more confident in the face of trauma than others? Well, we now understand through the work of John Bowlby and others that the very best defences against stress and trauma are the microdynamics that take place between a baby and an adult in a caring relationship. These have a lifelong effect in very specific ways on the person that a baby will become. Alan Shroof, a developmental psychologist at the Institute for Child Development at the University of Minnesota, has studied the attachment relationship for over 40 years. Attachment, he says, is a relationship in the service of a baby's emotion regulation and exploration. It's the deep, abiding confidence a baby has in the availability and responsiveness of the caregiver. A secure attachment has at least three functions. It provides a sense of safety and security. It regulates emotions by soothing distress, creating joy, and supporting calm. It offers a secure base from which to explore. For about 60% of children, secure attachment gives them the feeling of confidence to ride out the difficulties life can bring. And we now know that they learn it in those first 2 to 3 years of life. Children at this age, if they have their emotional needs met, will build confidence and resilience in the knowledge that they are loved, seen, heard and tended to with emotional responsiveness. For the other 40% of children, however, secure attachment is either partial or substantially missing. The sad fact is that a primary caregiver will struggle to soothe in a child what they cannot soothe in themselves. Children up to 3 years of age are primarily responsive to emotionality. Their logical brain has not yet developed. What they resonate with are the emotional states of the people around them. Parents, nowadays, still learn their parenting from their parents. They absorb love, support, care and nurture in a sense of security of place, but also they absorb a caregiver's anxiety, rage, sorrow or detachment. And a child at this age will often try to repair a problem for their significant carer. Those children may in turn also internalise those negative feelings. This can also result in problems such as personal insecurity, lack of confidence or lack of self-love, social withdrawal, rebelliousness, any or all of which issues can then lead to a range of consequent problems, particularly if combined with traumatic events. Trauma can be cumulative too. Many instances, small in themselves, can build up into a heavy burden. Childhood neglect in itself is traumatic, particularly if the child is very young. And here is the deepest injustice. The people who experience attachment problems in their early childhood are those who have the biggest problems in their schools, in their teens, in their relationships, and in their adulthood. Fortunately, the taboo against seeking help, especially for men, is starting to be replaced with a recognition that mental health is a right, just as is physical health. Thanks to advances in neuroscience and psychotherapy, we now have many more options to effectively treat problematic early attachment problems and early trauma. Discussing, exploring feelings, and in some cases, even constructing the all-important memories of support and emotionally responsive caregiving can really help. In years to come, hopefully, better school counselling and training in parenting will reduce insecure attachment, but currently it's still at the root of many mental health problems. It's much easier to resolve attachment and trauma issues early on in life, clearly, if you attend to them before you have children yourself. Then you're much less likely to pass them on to the next generation. If this video rings any bells for you or reminds you of problems you're having with your partner, please do get in touch. We will be happy to talk with you or plan a set of meetings. In psychotherapy, as in so many other areas of life, a stitch in time saves 9.